on here. Okay, back with another live stream, and let me quickly check my sound and all that stuff. Okay, got my other Dell 6000 laptop up there. Actually, it's my web server right now too. So, anyway, I used to have it over there to the left. Okay, let me move this. This is the my new security camera, but I've got it on my little workbench, so I'm going to move the camera down to where I can show it. Yesterday, when I did the initial unboxing and trying this up and everything, so if you want to see the beginning of it, the previous video, and also I'll put a number on 1 and 2 and so on and put them in a playlist. But so this is part 2 though, right here. So this, I went over this in detail, but this camera has, it's a wireless camera, goes over your Wi-Fi, and the cable's here. You can plug in Ethernet. You can do it Ethernet if you want to as well. Then there's a 12-volt power connector. It has a 12-volt adapter, power supply that came with it. And got it over here, I think. Just remembered that I'm going to need to plug that in here in a minute. And then this little deal with the cap is a reset button. And so if it, like if it you lose your video or something, you can just restart it. So I've got it mounted on this little piece of scrap wood so that I could have it set up and test it in here. And you might notice this sticker. It keeps peeling. It's all about halfway off already. It's not much stickum to it, and I'm kind of glad that happened anyway, because this is the model number and everything, and I showed a close up of that in the video. It's well, here. Let me get on the desktop, and I'll go to the website. Anyway, I'm going to take it off and stick it in the book. But there it is. It's CTIPC 2751. Wait, 1080p. You know what? That's not what it is. And that's the only one I could find. Maybe I've just found the wrong. It's just like this one, but it keeps saying. I noticed in the description it kept saying about 1080p. This one will do. It's 5 megapixel, and it will do. I'm not used to have that resolution, so I can't think of that resolution right off the top of my head. Let's go back over here to the camera. Whoops, and this is what it's going to be replacing. It's one of my phones, and it's pointing out the window from inside. It's a phone that can't be outside. It'd be destroyed in the weather, in the heat, cold, and rain. And so it's going through the window and the screen. So, and it's only 2 megapixel. And really, the video's video's about 2 megapixel. The still shots are 5 megapixel. This one does 5 megapixel video. This one I just bought. So, and I'm going to try and compare them and stuff here in a little while, I think. But right now, I'm just going to finish getting this one set up. I haven't hooked it up to the Wi-Fi yet or anything. And I was going to tell you the real model number. The sticker CTIPC 275C 5MP B. So I'm just going to go ahead and start getting this part set up, and I'll figure out the that business about the me finding the right web page and everything later. I may not even really need to do that. Oh, I didn't really need to Oh, I'm going to need the web browser. So let's see if I think if I just click on a link. Yeah, I've got it on the camera right now. I'm getting myself all turned around here. Get back on the desktop so you know what I'm talking about. I started closing the web browser and then I remembered, oh, I need the web browser opened up. So if I just click on the link, it's still going to throw me off though, isn't it? This won't come up because it's not running. You just get the, oh, I'm surprised you get, how do you get that? You're seeing the welcome page, but no links to do anything. It must be in my cache, my browser cache, because you know this thing's not running. So there, and it certainly didn't save something on my router that I don't believe it's possible for it to do that. But let's see. I'm going to get those links opened up again, so I'll be ready to go there. Okay, so what I had done, you know, I saved the page, the URL, the where you can set it up and everything. There's 3 ways you can set this brand up. I'm going to reload this and see if it goes away. A lot of times it will. You have to reload it a couple of times. Yeah, see it just once, and it cleared the cache in the browser, and this is what I expected to see. Is that right there? But this is the IP, my IP. That's not going to be the same IP with every. Depends on what your router. If you're using DHCP, automatically giving out the IP addresses, which is what routers are set by. Most every router I've ever seen are set by default. So unless you've changed all that yourself, then it's going to give whatever your router gives it. So then you can. They've got software you can download for Windows and use. But I'm not running Windows. I'm running Linux. Fedora 28 Linux is specifically what I'm running. Let me get a drink. For some reason, I know when my mouth is really dry because I took a cold pill while I was from allergies while I was I was eating. So what I do is I just go to my router and find the IP when I want. That's what I did. And anyway, and so I might be able to run that Windows software. I went ahead and downloaded some of it in case I had to try, but I didn't want to. I'd rather do it in the browser. And they tell you that don't try to use Internet Explorer, which is Windows don't even use Internet Explorer anymore. But they said, well, if you're using Windows 10, put it in Windows Internet Explorer mode. And I've used Linux as my main operating system since 2005, and I just play with Windows once in a while, and I get to where I don't even do that anymore unless I just find an application I really want to run that's Windows application. So, so what I'm going to do here then is try to get back to. I need to. The image is upside down because it's setting upside down. They sent it to you expecting you to pretend that wood was your the eave of your house. Most people do mount them like that, so that would make it right set up. But I'm not planning on. Well, I might change my mind, but I didn't want to flip. Mess with flipping the physical camera itself yesterday, but I want to now. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So that while I'm messing with it, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to compare it with. It does have a manual. It's too small for me to read, so I downloaded a PDF manual. The power supply, I got it in the box here. I'll have to hook that up. And what else is in here? Oh, they did give you an Allen wrench. How about that? I was thinking, I saw the screws, but I didn't see the Allen wrench to adjust it. I'll just go ahead and use my good one. But so that should fit it. I thought it would be nice if they're going to give you screws, but they didn't give you the Allen wrench to adjust the thing. And then if you were going to use it, if you were going to have this pigtail dangling outside and you wanted to hook up your Ethernet to it, then this is a watertight connector you can put on the end of your Ethernet cable. Actually, what I may do, it depends on where I end up mounting it. It's one of the things I'm going to be figuring out today is where I'm going to mount it. But what I may do, it's long enough that I could stick it through the wall, have this part inside, from about right here or so, or here, it's inside, and then I wouldn't have any of this out in the weather. If I want to reset it, I don't have to go outside, And if I did decide to hook it up to Ethernet cable, that's the thing is, I don't know if the Wi-Fi. I've got a good router. I've got a D-Link that does. It's a gigabit router, so it's 1,000 megabits on the wired, and then the 2.4 gigahertz. That's the only this frequency this works on. It's about 1,200 megabits. I guess I should go look at the specs of that thing before I. Well, I can't remember the details, but I believe it's 12 to 1,500, and then the between 12 and 1,500, I'm not sure, and then the 5 megahertz, which this won't use anyway, on my router will go 15 to 1,700, something like that. Of course, they don't ever get the maximum that they quote. There's so many things with radio. Wi-Fi is radio signals, and there's so many things to interfere with radio signals that you don't get a constant speed, and you don't get constant connection. That is the biggest problem I saw people having with the wireless cameras, even the 1.5 and 2 megapixels. First I thought I would buy a set with an NVR, which is basically a router, and a DVR, digital video recorder, and a computer to display, to a monitor, computer monitor, or a TV. They usually have VGA and HDMI outputs. So anyway. They get, this is a 5 megapixel now. I didn't want to spend more like $250 for a set of 4 cameras. If I was going to buy a set, well, I was trying to keep the whole package. I want to have at least 4 cameras, and I'm trying to keep it. Pretty well no more than $250, and you can get them for like $225 with. That's what I've seen, several different ones. With an NVR, 4 cameras, but it's it's an 8-channel NVR, so you could add more cameras. That'd be the ideal way to go, because then you may say, I got to have a camera here, or it's there. But the biggest problem people complain about them is losing the video, signal dropping. One of them actually was offering to give you a 10-foot booster antenna if you bought theirs, and I think that's because they had a lot of trouble with theirs, obviously. Some of them worked okay, but what I figured out was to run your security system on Wi-Fi like that, you're going to, for me, my router's down at this end of the house, right at the very end, and so the garage is at the other end, and what I've had 2 different routers out there so that I could have internet out there for some of my old computers when I was working on stuff, so I could look stuff up or whatever, play music. And I set them up as a wireless repeater. Well, the heat and the cold has pretty well killed 2 of them over the years. And so I have another TP-Link router that's just a little bit, less speed than this D-Link, and a little bit less range. But to get, but I have to install some firmware on it. It didn't come. This firmware won't make it a wireless repeater, so I'd have to do all that. DDWRT, if you've heard of that, it's probably what I would use. Anyway, I've been kind of wanting to do that, but I also hated to put it out there in the heat and have it get ruined. I would say in the cold, but most of these last 5 years, we haven't really got any severe cold too much here in North Texas where I live. But I'm going on about the stories and plans, and so let's don't do that anymore, and let's get to. I'm going to take the antenna off so that I don't accidentally break it. It's pretty fragile. There's plastic, these little. It bends one way. It's supposed to bend one way, so if you accidentally try to bend it the other way, hit it too hard or something, then you're going to mess it up. And this sticker no way it's going to stay on there when it's outside. It won't stay on there right now in the house. So I'm going to get the manual out here and stick it on the manual. And I spent 2 hours going over the manual and the book, the paperwork and the unboxing and yesterday. So if you want to see some of that and you want to skip through some of that, as long as it is, who knows? Maybe you just like to sit and relax. I don't know, but some people, I do that sometimes. Usually not a 2-hour video. Usually maybe an hour video. I do that all the time. So anyway, it has a pretty good book. It's too little for me to read. I was using I have an endoscope that can do real close-up videos, and I was doing that, looking at my computer screen to read it while I was making the video for a while, and then I found the PDF manual. I was trying to figure out where I want to stick this sticker. I think I'll just put it. I'll put it right on the front, like I was thinking. So, and this sticker also has the. It's got the model number. It's got the add password for the Wi-Fi, which you want to change right away, but you got to be able to get in there to start with. It's admin, and it has the not barcode, but I forgot what you call those things. You can scan with your phone. And it has it's got some more papers. I'll just say that quick start and kind of basic stuff, Not really a quick start, but how to mount it. Just a quick how to mount it thing. And I'm just going to put all those in the manual so they won't be go back in a little bag to protect them. Okay, so what I want to do, it has, if I can get close enough to show those or not, if I can get low enough, high enough. Now you can kind of see the screws on the elbow and down a little lower, and then if I turn it the other way, the antenna connector's in the way. See the other one on the camera body itself? Guess I'm in the wrong place. There. Yeah, just put my finger over it. Okay, so see, and there's a speaker. This is an audio, two-way audio. The speaker, you definitely don't want that up, and the rain will get in it. But I wasn't worried about that yesterday. But you can't bend it this far at a right angle that way, or you could just do that, but it's made so that you can't. So instead of trying to, and since you can't do that, then I'm going to loosen up. I believe if I loosen this up, that seems awfully tight. Oh, can't get to that one. Or can you? Yeah, you can. Just on top of that one loosens fine. I got to be able to see what I'm doing there, though. Yeah, I'm glad I kept my Allen wrench is harder steel. It's a good quality, and it's low, 3 times as long, twice or 3 times as long as that one they sent me. So that makes that as tight as I can't believe. Okay, so they're like these must be, when I loosen the other side, now this side is loose. So it must be like a nut and a bolt, or screw in a nut. So one side, I had a feeling that might be, okay, now it spins, see. So I don't know which way I want to try to go with it. I may have to, I'm going to have to loosen up. The cable is kind of not wanting to let it turn. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking I would do. Yeah. So I'm going to loosen up the elbow. That cable's cinched down because of the way I did that. So, because of me mounting it to the board like that. Yeah, I didn't have that real tight. I didn't want to break anything. This mount from here down is plastic. You want to be careful with that. This part, it's hard to tell. I think it's aluminum. This is heavy enough you can tell. It's solid. It's aluminum. That's plastic. So you got to pay attention to all that. I think some of them I've seen, they do have, so I'm going to have to loosen up my screws so that I'll be able to twist that cable. And I want to put one more screw in it. At first I thought, oh, it doesn't matter, but I think I'm going to actually be moving around a lot, so yeah, I think it will probably twist better like that. Okay, now, yeah, see, now I can turn it as far as I need to. The cable won't be in a bind, I don't think. Could take it all the way off of there, I guess. Let's see, here's what I was talking about. That's as far as it'll go that way, and it'll go 90 degrees that way. That's why you end up having to turn the head of it. So, yeah, I think I'll get the head the way I want it, tighten it up, and then I'm going to loosen it some more or take it all the way off, whatever needs to be done. I'm just going to look at the speaker to see, yeah, because the words are not going to tell you. The words are going to be off to one side. That doesn't matter. The speaker, I want it straight down so that it is not. Well, for one thing, that's how I'm going to know that it's. I'm looking straight up and down with the mount, so that way. Oops! Don't lift up on it; it'll come off there. Try to get it as straight as I can. That way, the picture will be straight. Well, of course, you'd still have to mount it correctly, orientation-wise, but uh-oh. I don't know if I got it or not. Oh, I guess it's because it's really not that straight on the board. Yeah, I think I did okay. So, and yeah, and you could raise it up and down a little bit to, you know, aim it. Oops, it's the wrong one. It's not the one I want to tighten up yet. With everything loose, it kind of throws me off. I don't know if they're, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're a nut and a bolt, but you do, like tightening that other side up didn't get this side. Imagine one of them's kind of like a bigger bolt that's hollow with threads inside. I'm just going by finger tight. I'm not. See, as much with using that, well, the long end of it, you could actually do too much. But I don't know if this is. Yeah, this is gonna. Okay, yeah, it's. See, there's a lot of slack in there, and I don't think it's in a bind anymore. So I'm not going to take the screws all the way off like I thought I might. But I'm going to leave it like that to put another screw in it. I've got some more screws. Now, these are mine. I didn't want them to go all the way through. They actually go through just to 1/8 of an inch through. So I have to... Well, I'm going to get it started, and then I'm going to take it back out and use some wire cutters and cut the, let's go ahead and tighten. Yeah, make sure that wire seems to be okay. I see. Yeah. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave the wire. There we go. Yeah, when it goes down, it pulls more wire, so that's the way to leave it. Okay. I'm not even just finger tight for now. That way, if I want to move it up and down and stuff, I can without pulling on that wire. You darn sure don't want to get that wire in a bind moving this thing up and down, because you pull the wires out of the solder joints inside the camera, and then you'll be sorry. Watch me, I've already done it. Okay, now I'm going to take it back out. I didn't go, instead of going all the way to where I can scratch up my table. And got an old pair of, should have brought the other ones in. I've got an old pair of needle nose that have a wire cutter in them. That you know, I'm gonna cut the very, very tip of it off, and it can do that without. These are pretty hard. These black. They generally call them sheetrock screws. But I'm gonna. So I let it fall in the trash can because I darn sure don't want to step on that in my bare foot. This is my bedroom, so I don't want to get up in the middle of the night and step on that. I hope the other two I did yesterday went in the trash can. I mean, I was aiming at the trash can. But sometimes, you know, when you cut stuff like that, it goes all over the... Don't go where you're planning. Now that'll be, you know, nice and solid on there. I won't be straining the mount or anything. Okay, now... I think that's still too long. Evidently it is. I'm going to have to take it out and cut it again. Yep. Darn it. Thought I did good. I didn't bother to inspect it that much. Yeah, it looks like I didn't. Guess I just didn't cut enough off of it. Anyway, this ruin your dikes doing this, your wire cutters. If you cut, you can cut. Well, with this, I probably could. I don't have the strength in my hands anymore. Back when I was young, I was a cabinet maker, and that's where I learned that. We had to cut lots of. Let me see if I even got enough of it that time. We had to cut screws and nails all the time. I think I better just go ahead and do a little more. But I would use I got a cheap pair of wire cutters. Now that was all I could do. I went down in the fatter part of it that time. Cheap pair of wire cutters that I'm kind of guessing by looking at the thick side of that piece of wood. I thought that piece of wood was 3/4, and it's 5/8 is what it turned out. I just grabbed the first piece of scrap that I thought was 3/4, one I could get to. I kind of looked around, and everything else was going to be hard to get to. Okay, now it's not going to scratch up the table. Oh, that was not wood. That was where I had been turning that screw. It must have. Now it came off. It was just a little bitty piece of. I guess it was from me turning it. It fell. Oh, it's still in my finger. Maybe it is a splinter. Dang it. Yep, it's a regular splinter. Those things hurt. Let me get something to pull it out with. Oh, there goes that way. This piece of wood is the worst one I could have picked. It's an old piece of plywood with splinters. Never even been sanded on the edges. Splinters everywhere. Well, when you got a splinter, every time you touch that spot, it just kills you. It's amazing that something that little could hurt that much. Okay, I got it. I always take a knife and scrape it across the spot and make sure that I did get it when I can't see. Oh, there might be still something in there. Either it's just dirty or I'm glad I did. I brought my alcohol. I was figuring I could just pull it and wouldn't have any blood or anything, but I already got blood. Thing must have went way deeper than it looked very small. Make sure it's not still on that. It went way deeper than I thought it did. Those old tweezers I've got are really kind of too big of a end, you know. They will do it, but they usually get a bunch of skin too. Ouch. I don't care how much I bleed. I just want, well, I care a little bit, but I just want that thing out of there. Because, boy, when they stay and you think you got them and you don't, then they drive you nuts they never do heal. They get infected, you know. They drive you nuts forever. And then trying to dig them out after they've been infected in the spot, your skin will grow over them, but it'll keep giving you infection. I've done it too many times in the last 20 years because I haven't been able to see good. You know, my eyes have been getting worse and worse. And I think I've got stuff, and I haven't. I used to just try to do it by feel. I just scrape the knife over it, and you think you got it. You know, it hurts real bad while you're scraping it, and then finally it gets better, and you figure, okay, I got it. But then you didn't. Okay, now, don't rub the wood, and don't look into the bright light. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I want that falling. Just leave them there. Okay. At least I think it's going to quit bleeding. So I won't have to have a baby Band-Aid. Okay. What I was wondering there when I did that is how much do I want to, do I want it more straight up or down kind of? I think I want it down kind of because yesterday I set it over there on the box that I just happened to have over there, and it was making it just the right height to aim it at me, but it was upside down. So now it'll be right set up. Okay, but I want to tighten this elbow up then. Oh, it doesn't have one on that side. The elbow's the only one that doesn't have two screws, looks like. When it started tightening up, it seems like it raised it up a little bit. Yeah, they don't need to be real tight. Just tight enough to keep it from... I was trying to figure out what I did with the antenna. The antenna's plastic, so be easy with it. It's got a little rough edge there. That's where you'd want to tighten it by. The rest of the other part, yeah, you could tighten it that way, but let's see. Uh-oh. The other part does turn. That's what I thought it did. Oh, okay, well, seems like I've got a problem. Look at that. It doesn't want to tighten to where you can put the antenna. That doesn't make sense. I've seen complaints like that on these things, but I figured, well, yesterday, oh yeah, it does turn. It just doesn't turn all that easy. So the part that you tighten, the rough part that you tighten it from, the rest of the antenna will turn so that you can adjust it. Just, I guess maybe you don't want to. It may tighten up. Let's find out here. It may that it tightens up, and well, I just happened to get it right. Yeah, I wouldn't angle it and then start cranking on it if it's hard to turn. That's how you'll break the antenna. I saw some pictures where the antenna was broke. You know that's what happened. So yeah, get it adjusted and then so that Like, yeah, it'll still turn, but don't grab it by the antenna. Grab it by that part there. If you can't turn it, then loosen that nut a little bit, and it should help a little bit. Even if you had to put some lightly put pliers on this part to turn it, it would be better than, you get a lot of leverage in that. That's like a 5-inch wrench, leverage. And that little elbow there, that little hinge is not going to handle you cranking down on it. Okay, so get my box and get it out of the way. Put my manual book in there. If I need, well, it's so small. I don't have my endoscope. My endoscope is USB, and the USB really works a computer. So yesterday, first time I turned on the web browser into the settings and where I could see the camera, before I even got to looking, it nearly locked up my computer. Because this is only a quad core with 4 gig RAM, and I'm streaming video too, So I didn't really quite think about it until much later why it really did that. But I'm sure that was what put it over the edge. Looks like I've got it pretty straight. We'll see when the antenna's leaning off, but the speaker looks pretty straight. Probably would have to have it on to get it to find if you want to get the orientation of straight up and down. Have it on and adjust this. Have it on and plain, but that'll be close enough for right now. So, but anyway, I'm going to hook up before I forget. I'm going to hook up my Ethernet cable, and I'm going to put this thing over there, pointing at me right now. And then once I get it. What I'm going to plan on doing is seeing how it looks, getting it up and running again, and then setting up a Wi-Fi password and everything, seeing if my Wi-Fi can, that's what I was talking about, the speed of my Wi-Fi, seeing if it can handle the 5 megapixel or not. If not, then you could still use it. I could still use it on Ethernet, but I'm not up to running no wires in the attic or anything, so, I could use it here, and just run an Ethernet cable through the wall to it. And I'm not planning on mounting them real high if I can find good places to mount them down lower, because all the crooks for many years now, they've always got their baseball hat and or their hoodie on to hide their face, and they never look up. They know not to look up because where the security cameras are. Of course, a lot of times they forget, but your best chance of getting their face is if you're down about as tall as people are, or less even, so that you're looking up. So you're looking up under the hat. Now, if that makes it too vulnerable for somebody to get it and tear it up, in my case, I'd get them on camera doing that. But there's one thing about that. I got these you can put an SD card in them. I've already put that in there yesterday. Of course, if they were going over there to do that, if they knew about that, these kind of cameras, and they went over there and just, grabbed the camera and broke it off the wall and took it, or took the SD card, then unless you're recording the live stream all the time, then you wouldn't get the picture. But you got to weigh your options. Do you want it up high where you may got a whole lot less chance of getting their face, or getting the license number from up higher like that. It's hard enough to get, and that's the main reason. That's why I bought the 5 megapixel, because I think it should be able to. It depends on where the car is, how fast it's moving. But if they stop, in a car, and if they're stop in the right place, especially, then you'll be able to read the license number. But I don't know. It's going to be probably too expensive to get for 4 of these, So I may get a set of 4 2 megapixel, and then this one. Only thing is, I didn't realize this one was such a wide. It's 100 degree wide angle, and I wasn't thinking. I thought I remembered the numbers, and this is really wide. It looks like you're looking at a fishbowl, and I didn't want one that did that, but that's what I bought. So I may put it somewhere like on the front porch, where people would be walking right up close to it, going to the door and stuff, where you can, because really looks like the only place where it's really clear is in the middle, not on each side. So the wide angle is really not a lot of use to me. So let me get over here and set this thing up. I'm just going to set it over here. Let me get my, I'll get on the desktop and get the web page ready to come up. I haven't plugged it in yet into, the power to it. So let's get that all ready. Okay, all I have to do is hit reload. Okay, let me plug it in. I think it's going to be too low. I have the boxes that I set them. I usually have them on my desk, and I moved them over there. It makes little noises out the speaker while it's booting up. I think that's one. Yeah, it's booted up. So that's they tell you that's when you hear it make a noise, but it actually makes a noise the instant you plug it in, and it ain't ready yet. It's like the second noise. That must be when it's booted up. Okay, so the default password username is admin, and so is the password. So you're going to want to change that when you get, when you're, and I'm going to save that in my browser. So when you get it, when you're setting it up, change the password. I don't know if you can change the username or not, but I like to do both if I can. That way, if they know the username is going to be admin, then all they got to do is figure out the password. But first they'd see for this camera, it's just going to be on my local network. So first they'd have to break into my routers too. So anyway, the PC view is where all the settings are. That one, this is setup software. You can click on. I did that, and it downloads a file for Windows executable. So I'm not going to use any of that if I don't have to. I might just mess with it just to see. Okay, see how wide it is. But see how it's not. It doesn't look as bad right set up as it did upside down. But that laptop, man, that's way below it. Of course, it is kind of angling down, but actually that's actually a good angle. And I'm actually in the center of it. I just kind of eyeballed it, and of course I'm kind of used to doing that with cameras anyway. But that thing is so wide, you don't have to be very good at it. But see, that's what I'm talking about. The outside edges are all curved. If your license number was over in the corners, it's kind of odd. This one's not as curved down here down here. I guess. Well, you know what? It's wider than that. This is what you're seeing, and so you can't see below it. Now I realize. Yeah, see how low my hand. Well, you can't tell. Well, now you can. That thing, I think it would see the floor if that wasn't there. But where it's sitting right now, I mean, you don't want to be looking at the ceiling, so that's actually a good place to set it for right now. So, all right, now let's, and see, it's now this right here says rate, which I guess is frame rate. This is 45. That's the maximum. I wouldn't want more than 30 frames per second, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. But it's good. It's better than my. If it wasn't fisheye, I'd be wanting to use it to make my videos with. It's better than my, way better than my. And the coloring, and the light is all automatic. It's all on set. It's just the automatic settings. Presetting 1. I don't remember that. I read. There's some things that submit. I don't know if that's like to send the video via email. Call. Oh, okay, that's the. Hello? It's got a mic on it. Should pick up. I didn't hear anything. Remove, I don't know what that is, so I'm not hitting that. Submit, I did it. The what's going on at the bottom comes up and goes so fast I can't tell. This thing doesn't pan, does it? This, I think this page, this software on this page is for I lost my stream. Shoot. Oh, it came back. No, not for much. Oh, I thought I'd completely lost my stream. It was down for a minute there. Guess it didn't go down long enough to completely lose it. I don't know if you're still able to hear me, but I can see my preview. Oh, I can tell if you can hear me. Let me check it. All right, let's see. Checking the audio. Oh, it's way behind what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so that preview page is too much for my computer. I don't know, maybe if I would change some settings, it would help. Okay, so I thought I'd lost my stream. I thought the computer was completely locked up, and I was going to have to, shut everything down and restart. But my computer's still not running good, so I need to close all the programs that I don't have to have. I'm seeing in my preview right now that me in it, so it hasn't caught up yet. My stream's always a little behind what I'm actually doing. I may even have a 20 or 30 second delay set in OBS Studio. I turned it on and then I thought, no, I don't want that because it's confusing. But it is helpful, like if something like that goes wrong, the stream might have a little glitch in it, but it won't lose, you won't completely lose your stream. So I'm actually fine with OBS now. I had Crusader, the file manager, open. But it does sometimes use it, especially when you're having trouble, you don't need to run anything. So now that anything more than you need. So now I've just got OBS. Yesterday, that's what I ended up doing. And like I said at the beginning, I thought it was because I was running that USB camera, and I thought that was a killer. But what I did yesterday is close down everything. I had several things running yesterday, but anyway, I closed down everything except for OBS and the web browser, and I always leave the file system monitor so that I know. Well, for one thing, you can quickly shut down unruly applications that are locked up, or just well, they're not necessarily locked up. They're just using so much memory and RAM that the machine can't keep up. Need my server running. I got a HP server that I haven't set up yet, and it's got two 6-core processors and 64 gig of RAM. It'll handle it. Only thing is I was really kind of thinking I'd like to use it as a server and my desktop, kind of, but it's going to make too much noise and heat, I think, to let it run all the time. I think I can stand using it while I'm up and stuff, but then shut it down when I go to bed. Because all this stuff's in my room. So anyway, I got back on the still kind of throwing me off because you're way behind on the stream, but that doesn't actually matter. But I want to make sure everything's working before I just go on like nothing's wrong. So I'm gonna. Yeah, it sounds like the audio's good and the picture's fine. It's just fine. Okay, so yeah, now I clicked on the tab there that says settings and got off of the monitor page, and that helps with with it overwhelming the machine. I don't know, those things I clicked on might have set off some kind of process that caused that. Evidently it did. I think I'm going to close the browser. Let me see what the browser looks like now. Well, it's actually doing all right. I'm still going to close it and open it again because there might still be telltale processes from that computer couldn't handle. So it says, I was saying I started how many sentences and didn't finish them. Yeah, Firefox is taking a good while to shut down, so I'm just watching to see when it shuts down. There we go. I didn't force it, I just closed it normally. So I'll open it back up. Now, you don't want to try to open it up again until you know it's down. That's my whole point there. But anyway, they say in the instructions that you should use Internet Explorer because other browsers so they may not work right, and that you may not be able to control the SD card and some other stuff. And that's why I went ahead and downloaded the Windows executables. I do have a Windows XP virtual machine on here. That's the only Windows system I've got. But, you know, I didn't want to do that unless I had to because I'm not going to be using Windows stuff to run it. I thought, well, if I have to set it up that way, I'll do that. But I don't even know if that software will run on XP. That's the other thing. You know, it may only run 7 up. So I decided to try the web browser first, and everything's there. I was able to set the time zone, and let me go back to where I was. Let's see. Yeah, restore previous session. I set this time zone and looked around the whole thing for a long time. After the first time when I had trouble, I actually went off. I got on my Acer laptop. I tried to look at it with it. It locked. It shut down and rebooted once, and I got it on again, and then the web browser didn't want to open it up. And yeah, it may be the hard drives. The hard drives are really old and in bad shape. It might have been acting up or something. But so this is the settings page. I won't go back to the monitor part yet. Okay, so it has the video settings. It's 2 sections: first stream and second stream. And I still haven't quite figured out, you know, which one's for what. I mean, what I would like is one stream to be the one you look at, which would be the lower resolution that won't cause any trouble on your network, won't use up too much bandwidth, and then the other stream to be the full resolution. That's what this is, 2560 by 1920. This being recorded, and I saw. So I got to make sure. I'm going to have to get into the manual to make sure. Which one is which, so that I set it up right. Because I may not need to change a thing, or I may need to change it. Okay, on here it says maximum frame rate 50. Wait a minute. 15, I'm sorry. I thought I saw in screenshots that it was set on. Oh, keyframe interval 30. That's what I saw. Okay. So, but, you know, on the first page it says rate. It just says rate, and it said 45. But it looked to me like when I was seeing myself moving, it didn't look like 15 because 15 is a little choppy. It looked like 30, 20 to 30, 25 to 30, I would say. So I'm wondering about that, and I'm not sure which. You know, that could have been 800 by 600 I was looking at, or it could have been the 2560, but just in the thumbnail view. You know, 800 by 600 would be bigger than that if that must have been a thumbnail either way, because usually that's how it is, and then like you click on it and make it or do something to make it full size. And I hadn't, the other time, yesterday, I didn't figure out how to go straight to just the picture in the web browser. And I saw some stuff in my screen. I made screenshots of things that I thought might be helpful, you know. I saw my screenshots. Of course, it was screenshots of this, so I'll probably find it here, one way or the other. I tried to go to it, in the browser. I tried to go to it on Motion iOS on my Raspberry Pi. I had set that up the other day, and I don't think it can play. If this can't play it, that thing sure can't, because it's only 700. It's on the Model B, it's 700 megahertz and 512 mega RAM. Although it does have a pretty good video chip in it, it would play 1080p. I set it up with XBMC for the TV, So this is media. Well, that's video. This is another. Oh, it's logged out. I don't want to save that because then I got to go take it out of there. Let's see. Video. Oh, okay. Video settings. OSD set on screen display, I guess. Oh, okay. Times stamp. Oh, you can change the camera name there. If I have more than one of them, I'd need to do that. Image. Okay, now here's where you could set but it looks good. This is where you can set this didn't bother it the other day, but it is a moving image. It's not a snapshot. See me waving. See, it's not, well, it could be lagging just a hair. Maybe it is 15 frames per second. Well, either that or the machine can't keep up. But anyway, right now I don't want to change any of this. It looks really good. And then audio. I do not, I know a lot of audio codecs and names for audio, but G711 and G726, never heard of that. So they're all on, but I didn't hear anything a minute ago when I clicked on what I guessed was, it said call, so I would think that would make it, well, you know what? I should have been able to talk and have it, oh, that's right. I think you don't. Well, it still might work. It's two-way audio, so you could talk to this thing and it would be heard where you're listening at, where you're viewing it at, or you can use a phone or a tablet or something, and you can be viewing it and talking to whoever with that app. You can be viewing their app, which won't work on my phones. I don't think it even works on the newer tablet we got, if I remember right. You could be talking to them as well, and no, I don't want to buy any cookies. Get out of here. Get off my property. Which would be the least of my worries. It's that dadgum lying door knocking salesman that I can't stand. But that's one thing that would be nice, is to have a camera at the door so you can look up and see if you want to go answer the door or not. Well, the one that I have there, I can see what the heck's going on out there. I can't see if they're right up at the door, but if they're standing back a little bit, I can see them the way, the angle that I've got it. So anyway, where are we at? Audio. Okay, so network. It's taking a minute to change, evidently. No, I guess you have to click on something in there. Okay, dynamic IP, that's the way we want it, from the DHCP server. The port, now yesterday, this is what I was going to get at. If you just go to the IP address and don't specify a port, then it'll just go up. Web browser, it'll just go to port 80. And I saw this part, but I didn't notice this part over here. So RTSP, VLC will do that, and RTMPs, but they're kind of hard to get you got to get everything just right when you type it in there. It's kind of hard. I always forget how to do it. And then RTSP permission check. Modify the settings. Okay, so, but you can also do HTTP in VLC. I think I'll do that instead of the browser, because it generally, I know with my IP, when I view my phones, generally let's make sure we're on the, I can tell that, make sure we're on the desktop so you see it. Anyway, I didn't try 1024 or 4. I never even heard of I never heard of video using either one of those ports, but I've also never had any of these security cameras, IP security cameras, just with phones and, USB cams on the computers and stuff. I've done that for years, streaming them. But anyway, so 49, 151, or 10, I'm going to try 1024 first and see if it just comes up. And I think it'll use less resources on the system to go ahead and open up VLC. I hope. I don't want to lock the thing up. In VLC, you say open a network stream, and then now see that's how you have to do it to get to one of my cameras. Like I don't know if that's one of the ones I have playing, but let's see. Looks like maybe not. Well, it hadn't given an error yet. Okay, this is the one aiming it. That's just aiming at my keyboard right now because I was showing my work on the camera. So I can turn that back up to normal until I need it again. It takes a little delay. So much delay that it's really taking too much time. Okay, so see that's how that would work. But I don't use VLC because it does use more resources than OBS Studio. And I could put this in OBS Studio if I get the. I don't think I'd want. Well, I might want to, but right now I don't. But if I had all the how to get to the camera worked out. But you see, it all depends on the software that's doing the sending. So whatever the software, I think it was 1024. Let's go look. Oh, 1024, yeah. So I don't know if you had, let's just try that. No, that didn't work. Okay. We'll try, I may have to go, I looked in the manual and I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm making too much. Maybe more than I thought on the machine. I'm afraid so. Dang it. Yeah, I just went ahead and closed VLC because that turned out to not to be slowing the machine down. I don't see why just going to that web page would actually work the computer like that, but it is. Okay, I'll try going in the computer. Could even be different. Oh, that just tried to log in. Yeah, because okay, 1024. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, we'll try video. I'll have to go look in the manual and figure out what you got to do because it's not just a simple matter. Well, I could try RTSP. See, it says you can do 554, 1024, 4915, and you may have to set those ports. Actually, that may just be notes telling you you can put these other ports in there if you want to, if you need to. But I suppose if I wonder if I put 1024 and the HTTP port number, would that make me see video, or that would make my login have to go to 1024? I assume that since these are RTSP ports, that they're there for viewing video, not. I never heard of them being to go to see a website, or RTMP or any of that. So I guess I'm going to have to find out a little more. I would like to know that. That's one of the first things I want to know is how is it going to be viewable, before I even really bother to set up the Wi-Fi or anything. Let me go ahead and open up the manual then. Not sure what would be easier. I don't know about this searcher's pretty quick, but I'm just going to go. I know where it is. I just didn't want to open up something that would work the machine too hard. The video that it's putting out is quite a bit larger and more data than 1080p. which basically what is the screen resolution of that I use on my computer is pretty close to 1080p. Okay, so that was my files and stuff. What was I wanting to go find out? Oh, the manual. Yeah, it's in here. There it is. Oh yeah, and that software that I downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and close. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I had a feeling when I did that. So I thought I was going to be clicking on Crusader to close it. And I was clicking on the manual that just now, it opened up right there. It was there, but I didn't see it yet. So, all right, let's see. Trying to look. I'm looking for the word view to see if I can find. Let's see. View camera. Is it in there? Add camera, delete camera, view camera. Okay. That's the only place where it says camera. IP's in there too many times in words. Let's see. Just cameras in there. A 100,000 times. I read through this whole manual, looked through some of the paper stuff. It was actually one thing that I don't remember seeing in the manual. It was on paper, kind of a, quick problem thing, quick problem solving thing. Let's just leave that like it is for now. Let's go back in here. It won't hurt to change that to 1024 once and see what happens. Oops, 1024. Whoops. Oh, yes, it will. Well, no, if I change it to 1024 and I lose my login here, then I'll just go back. I'll go to port 1024 and change it back. Just make sure I know what I'm putting in there. 1024. IP or port has been changed. Please reconnect. That's what it's for. Okay, so it's not for viewing the camera. Oh, that worked. Okay. Maybe it is. Come on, come on, come on. It rebooted, I think. They must have had to reboot to do that. Now I think it's going to port 80, but see, I'm not getting anything. Okay, so let's add the port 1024. Now we're back to, so that was for the login stuff. All right, go to settings before it locks up. Network. So, 80, put it back on 80 because I don't want to forget that I did that. Okay. Evidently it reboots when you do that. Oh, no, it doesn't. I don't hear the noise in the speaker that time. So Let's go to VLC one more time and try 554 because that's what it's set to. Either RTSP or RTMP 554. Well, I can't remember one at a time. RTSP 554. I was making that noise again. Yeah, but it's oh, now it's got 1024 in the address bar. There we go. I think it's on port 80 now. Okay, I think so. Yeah, there's no extra port put in there in the URL at the top. Okay. I'll try one more time with VLC. IP plus, well, RTSP stream 554. Does that have it in this part here? I think you have to do it up here like I did. Change it to on there you're supposed to put like a file name, see? So I don't think you can just go to a directory. See, like for HTTP, you need, well, there's one I didn't think of. Something like, yeah, you have to know what it puts out. See, like for example, stream.avi. Well, this could be, for instance, stream.265 because I know that's what it's streaming is 265. I tried to I saved some of the movies that were saved to the SD card yesterday, and I tried to play them, and it wouldn't even play them. So that could be another problem. I just thought of that. And HTTP, youtube.com, blah, 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 you know, the normal way to get to most videos. Let's try RTSP. RTSP, and we want, I forgot already, 554. It follows me. Now, I don't think it's going to play, but we'll try it. It seems to work. Yeah, it didn't work. I'm just going to clear that and close this player. Yeah, as soon as I open it up, see, it won't even go back to it. Can't even raise it and lower it. I had to I'll just go over here and kill it. That's why I leave this open. Because if it's acting up, sometimes it's just not responding good, but it could be using too much memory and or CPU, and it could lock. This computer will get locked up before you know it. See if I'm still logged in. Nope. It logs you out too quick. Okay. Yeah, okay. And go, let's see, wireless. Yeah, there's where I'll go to set the wireless, but I'm not going to do that until and maybe that you can't view the stream on the wired, but you should be able to, from what I understand. And then DDNS, yeah, I'm going to mess with that. That's if you wanted to announce your IP address. ONVIF. My user ID. That seemed to have picked that up. My user ID and a password that you couldn't see. Okay, ONVIF, port 8080. Tried that, thinking maybe I could view that way, but I couldn't. I have an ONVIF app on my computer, and I tried to look at it through that and then use that port, and it didn't work. And it can view cameras that are ONVIF cameras because it's got some examples in there. I haven't been able to get to view my phone cameras or this. Could be that I just don't know how to put something in there right because you have to hand type the stuff in there. Peer-to-peer, that would be to put the UID. I actually don't remember. That's for, I'm familiar with that from routers, you know, but let's see. Oh yeah, that router, you give that to the router, and I don't remember. I think I kind of remember that you said you could, if you don't want to put your router password and all that in there, you can do it this way. But and then there's alarm, auto alarm, audio alarm, alarm. Send an email, save a picture on FTP server, save a video on the FTP server. Now, if I get a server up and running all the time that I got space on it, I'll have it automatically upload videos to the server. And I did turn on right there. That's the thing they said might not show up in other browsers. And I'm using Firefox, by the way. And if you didn't know, you can't run Internet Explorer. It's Windows software. You can't run it in Linux. Except for I do have Internet Explorer on my XP virtual machine. I could open that up and see if it acts. That's already going to use a lot of resources. I can just barely do a video and have my virtual machine of XP running on this machine. So I don't want to try that if I don't have to. Okay, and then schedule. You can schedule, like recordings and stuff if you want it. Advanced. User. Yeah, you could change the main user, so I might do that later. And sometimes I do that and then I confuse myself because I forget that I did that, though. So we'll see. Let's see. Auto snap. Card snap interval. Oh, auto take a snapshot, I guess. Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha. You can just tell it to take snapshots when you want it to. You can do a time lapse with that. Time recorder. So how long would you want it to record? And I looked that up. That 600 seconds is 10 minutes. Whether to open a record, to open a record on. Oh, first stream, second stream. I don't know if that's the thing I saw. Okay, which stream do you want to record? Well, I would want to record the first one. That's the highest resolution. And that's what I'm hoping will happen on motion detection, too. Record that one, but stream the other one is what I want. Stream the lower so it won't use up all my network bandwidth. Okay. And just to view it, you don't necessarily need the highest resolution, but if you need the evidence, then you want the highest resolution you can get. Recording. Okay, so where am I at? Record setting. It doesn't highlight or anything, so I never can tell which one am I actually on. I think I'm on timer record. Okay, I guess so. Email. Now that's where you put in your email server or your email services server, like if you're going to go through your ISP or whatever. But same like if you were setting up, I use Thunderbird email client. I guess a lot of people got to where they don't do that anymore, but I can't stand webmail. I won't use it unless I absolutely have no other choice. So you could set it up in there. I don't think I'll be doing that because I think we get way too many emails. I don't think it would just be more aggravation than help. Then FTP, now that's what I would do that, set that up when I have a place to set it up to. Later when right now I'm kind of in flux because my machine, I was using an IBM tower computer, just a desktop type computer, as my server for a year or two. And one of the fans got real loud, and this was months ago. Anyway, I have a bunch of old computers, but I didn't have anything to replace it with that wouldn't be any louder, and because it doesn't have speed control, and the newer fans that have speed control get full blast when they plugged into one of those, and so then I used my Acer laptop, and it was fine, in the hour when I first started using it, if the power went out, the battery would last 2 hours. A couple of times it did happen, And I like a desktop better, really, because, when you don't need the server running when the power's out to the house because you don't have internet, your motor's not working, So, and probably we've got a control box down the street, down the corner, that if the power goes out, then it doesn't work either, so you're still not going to have internet. I mean, if you had your your modem and router and everything on a battery backup. That still wouldn't fix it for where I live. So because they have to have power for their switch. It's not a switch box. Well, I guess it's kind of a switch box, but it's for cable, cable TV and internet. So not telephone, But so when I was using the laptop as my server, it would keep on running until the battery ran down if the power was out long enough. And but there's nothing in a laptop. A laptop's not expected to be a server, so it doesn't have anything like to automatically boot up when the power comes back on. And desktops, every one of them I've ever seen does, and so that's what I would have them set to always on if there's power, and so it boots back up. And that was reliable for years. I had, let's see, can't remember. I got a Dell 450 megahertz Dell Pentium 3, I think, or one. Was it a 1 or I think it's a 3. Anyway, it's under my desktop because it makes a good. That was my first server I set up. I ran it for years until it got. Well, it had. It was it was kind of getting behind because the operating system that I was using is a Linux operating system. It was called Chaos Linux, CAOS, big letters, and it was really good. It was built. It was an RPM based distro, so it was just like a lot like Fedora. So I was really used to that because that's what I've been running since '05 when I discovered. That's what I started with, and I've run to Bang too, but I like Fedora the best. And so I just kept running it for years and years, and then they quit developing it, and it was getting to where it wasn't keeping up too well, with a lot of traffic or anything. I don't never get. Sometimes you get actually when I get traffic, it's when somebody was running scripts on the internet trying to hack stuff. They're running scripts on just see a server and start trying to hack into the FTP and all that stuff. And so then I went to I can't remember another machine, so I guess I went to that IBM, and it's a single core, but it's a Pentium 4 class. It's a Celeron, but they call it Pentium 4 class. It's in that class, and it's 2.5 gigahertz with 2 gig of RAM. That was just perfect. Didn't make too much heat. It made enough heat to know the difference, and it wasn't very loud. I couldn't really hear it like when I was over in my bed until the fan started acting up. And also one of the USBs quit working and stuff. And and that's a Dell down there, the first one. It had either a problem of the motherboard or one of the memory sticks, and I never did get any more memory for it. It's really old memory. When it would go, especially when the power went out and it would come back up, sometimes one of the memory sticks wouldn't get recognized, so it would have like half of its memory, and that really made it slow. Sometimes it would cause the server to time out, when you're trying to go to it. So it would say inaccessible, and then if you'd reload, and it would finally come in or wait long enough. So it was time to change it, and then so I decided to try this laptop. It's dual core, 2 gigahertz dual core with 2 gig of RAM, I think, in it. I bought some RAM. I found RAM for $10 a stick for that. Well, I think it's 10 a stick for the old DDR1. Well, not is it double density or not? Yeah, DDR, just DDR. It's not, they don't call it one; they just call it DDR RAM. That I had in the IBM, so I got some for that and a couple other machines I had, and then I bought some more for some. I have 3 laptops and bought some more, and then anyway, I ended up with 2 gig in all of them. Well, one of them already had 3 in it, and so that was just fine for server, and so I had Fedora 29 server on the Acer laptop, and then the battery, it wore out. I was afraid of that, running the server, keeping the battery plugged in to the charger all the time. I don't remember exactly how long I ran it, but it wouldn't. I noticed it wasn't. When this power had gone out a couple of times, and it wouldn't boot back up. And I fiddled with it, finally figured out the battery was about almost dead. So it'll still run, but well, it acted up the other day. So I don't know why I'm telling server stories, because of FTP. So I used to have FTP servers set up that I could, anytime I wanted to, I could set something up to send files to them, but I don't now. You also got to have, if you're going to do video, you're going to have a lot of space. I've got a Seagate USB 5 terabyte USB drive, and I saw that it was beginning to get on up there with using up space, so I bought an 8 terabyte. Well, at first, I wanted a real redundant backup, so first my computer backs up to the 5 terabyte, and then I use Lucky Backup, and that's the program I use, and then it backs up the 5 terabyte to the 8 terabyte. Well, I just noticed today, I knew it had been getting on. I've been making lots of videos and live streams, and I have been copying my surveillance footage from my camera over there too, most of the time. Sometimes I let it get behind on it, forget about it. But anyway, it's only got a terabyte left on the 5, and then I don't know. There's plenty on the 8. I mean, because it's well, it comes with it doesn't start out 8 terabyte. The 5's only 4.5 terabytes, and the 8's only like 7.23 or something. So anyway, it won't be long. I'm going to be needing another backup drive, unless I stop doing redundant backups and just have one backup drive. So, backing up video, that was the whole point. It's going to take up a lot of space if I back them all up. But I did figure out, finally, I tried to figure it out, and it just wouldn't work. But then the other day, I had I was going to switch phones because I run 2 batteries. That's the other thing. The phones can't be used like that either. I ran one phone for 2 or 3 months, and the battery swelled up. Won't even stay. You can't even. It disconnected itself from its contacts. You can't even put it back in a phone still after it's been out 2 weeks, a month. I don't know. One of them, another one. And then I put another one in there. I have 3 identical Alcatel A45L phones. Put another battery in there from another phone, and then it started swelling up, and I took it down and put the other last phone that still had a good battery in it, and that's why I'm trying to hurry up and get a real security camera going before I ruin the battery that's in this one right here. And see, it's not good enough surveillance footage anyway. I can't put them outside like I was saying at the beginning there. And so I've only got one with a good battery. This one here that I got aiming at me, that's the other swollen battery that is still working, except for now it's not holding a charge like it used to. I had it unplugged the other day, and just sitting there, and I happened to pick it up a few times, and it looked like it was going. I was sitting there watching it go down. But one time I caught it, just the percentage of charge going down, and I started looking at it. It looked like it was going down about a percentage a minute. So, and I left it unplugged up one night, and I usually leave them. What I do is I leave them plugged in, and then turn off the power strip to them, and so they're not being charged at night, but they're being charged all day, and that hasn't ever hurt them. But when you're running them, and they have to be on the charger to stay running 24/7, that's when for sure I know it hurts them. And I mean, they are. I think the phones are about 3 years old now. Well, they're actually like a year or 2 old when I bought them. I got them for $15 each at Wally World. But anyway, a real security camera is the way to go. And if I was able to crawl through the attic and run all the wiring, I would actually go with PoE, power over Ethernet, and just run. I had to buy power over Ethernet. Well, I'd buy a router that does that. It'd be cheaper to buy a whole router in the long run than to buy the add-on stuff, I think. But or a switch. Well, actually, a switch with power over Ethernet is I think that's the way to go, if I remember right. I did a bunch of research on it, and I decided not to get that because I didn't think I'd be, well, I don't think I thought that far about the security cameras yet, but I didn't really have anything to use it on at the time. And but I've got some Ethernet cable run through the attic that I did years and years ago, 20 years ago almost now, about 20 years ago. But I can't really do that anymore. So wireless is not optimal, and it's actually maybe end up being more of a pain to get set up and keep set up. But as far as getting good video over the Wi-Fi, the biggest problem is I know from running these phones. When I normally when making my live streams, I run 2 phones with video and 1 with just audio. And if I want, and I have a lapel mic, I plug into that phone. And if I want to be up and running around, I got a wireless mic, and it'll last about 5 hours on the battery when they were good. More than that. I mean, I've done 5 hours before, several times. And that way, like just today, when I had to get up and get away from the mic, well, you can't hear me. Well, what I would do is switch. I like this sound of this mic, the SM58, the best. But when I would want to get up, I would just switch back and forth, to each mic, to the lapels when I was running around. Or if I'm just going to be moving around the whole video, I'll just stay on that. But anyway, I don't know why I'm really sidetracked. Terminal. Oh, okay. Cruise Lapse. Boy, it's got some. It's really a pretty cool camera. I don't think these other cameras that I've looked at have all these features that you can do. You can connect to this thing through a terminal. I don't know. I guess you're going through wirelessly or well, maybe you're connecting to it through I bet you have to at least be connected. To do that, you must have to do it through the Ethernet cable. But if you want to use, I guess what it really, maybe it just means, I just now realized, when I was thinking terminal, I was thinking a physical terminal where you plug a serial cable into a computer and you connect, it's called a terminal, and you type in the command line. Well, there's also the terminal like this where you can connect. But you don't have to, I've never had to know to, I don't remember the commands. You have to put something in there besides the IP address. It may mean all that is the actual control. You don't have to get into that when you're just doing a terminal. Like I can do remote. Let's see. I think it's just like that. Batch command not found. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. No, port 22. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know what cruise lapse is. None of that stuff. And I didn't see, unless there's a terminal connection, like you open that, you can open, that speaker cover comes off, and that's where you put the SD card. Maybe there's an actual physical terminal plug in there. You might be able to FTP. I would never FTP in the terminal. I'm not good enough to do that. It doesn't work anyway. As you can see, I don't even really know the commands. I do SSH to do remote, to get a remote, what? Install package FTP to provide the command. Well, I'm not going to do FTP on the terminal. I'll use, GUI apps. But let's see. Let's go to that next session there. That was curious as well. 458 set. The baud rate. That's what you do with modems. I used to do that. But used to have to, and let's see. What is it called? You use it in serial connections. That's what I was talking about, serial connections. There are serial terminal connectors you can hook up physically and type on a terminal with a keyboard and in a terminal. But anyway, it's got a lot of stuff that I'm not quite sure why basically, a consumer, maybe this is kind of prosumer or something. Consumer security camera would have in it. But I don't need to do any of that, I don't think. Only one I would know I'd want to do is FTP. And then you can tell it to restart Oh, it's already on. Restart. I didn't turn it on, I didn't think, but it said 2 o'clock on Friday. It says on. So that must have already been on because I looked at it, but I didn't change it. The time I did change, I set it to my Central Time U.S. And then initialize. What's that? Initialize. Reboot. Oh, okay. Factory reset, all that stuff. So that's good, but don't bother that unless you really want to. You lose all your settings. I did do, is it in there? Restore, upgrade, backup. I went ahead and backed up after I had set the clock and set one other thing, I went ahead and saved it. It gives you a config.bin file, just like routers do if you've done routers. Device information, that's all the information on it. And yeah, and so, but there isn't anything telling you how to view the. I don't know if I'm missing something, or if you can only view the cameras in this program here, in this website, that's what it is, or over Wi-Fi. I guess I'll set up the Wi-Fi and see. This may be the only way they want you, and when you're hooked up to the Ethernet cable, maybe this is the only way that it allows you to view the video. I think of what do you do when you want to see more than one camera? Well, you're connected straight to the camera, so you don't. If you want to see more than one camera, then you use. They have some Windows software, or you could use. You should be able to use ZoneMinder or something like that, or some of that Windows software like that. I installed ZoneMinder. I better get off of here. It'll probably lock up on me again. I installed ZoneMinder on the Acer, but I messed up the settings. You got to follow the instructions to the T step by step, and I spent hours and hours and got it wrong, and it wouldn't start up. It was installed, but it wouldn't start up, and I didn't want to mess with it again. But now I will. I'll mess with it. But I also have Motion iOS on my little Raspberry Pi, and I did try that, and I didn't get it to work. Where's that page that has network? That's it. Network. I don't. Yeah, that's not. Unless I could get to it through RTSP or RTMP. And then really, I think you can do those in the browser. I'm not sure if Firefox will support that. I can't remember. I've only ever used it in VLC. But I tried that, and it didn't work a while ago. I tried the 554 port. Well, it may be that you actually need to know. Where's that page where you get to the, there's a link somewhere where you can get to the videos. Let me go back to the monitor and see if I can see it from there. No. Look again. I guess I'll go ahead and set up the wireless. I have not. When I click on ONVIF, it says, do I want to save my user ID and a password let's show that password. My password? Okay. I'm going to do a screenshot of that. Oh, dang you. Some screenshot, some Windows don't show up when you do a screenshot. They do that to you. But I have another screenshot app that will get it. So we'll do that. The particular one, I don't use this one because it uses up too many resources. I actually like it better. But the other one is just the default mate screenshot tool. It doesn't have delayed screenshot and all that stuff. Come on. It's not doing it now. do another one. Why isn't it doing it? You know what? I bet you when I hit that, I don't know. I'm afraid that particular password got saved in Firefox is what happened. Peer. Now it went there. Just does it once, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I already tried ONVIF port 8080. Purview, not preview, purview. Time zones, NVC type normal, UniView. Well, I'm not as actually interested in the ONVIF as I am in, well, I might be, because that software is pretty readily available. Make sure everything's still working here. Okay, so that software's kind of slow to open up anyway. So it has some, default cameras, but demonstration cameras. Okay, now. And for some reason that was not showing up the last time I was in there. It did. Okay, camera. I'm just going to give it that IP address for a name. Well, that might not be a good name. Let's see. Is it IP camera? I'll just call it IP cam. Now, it doesn't show that you put the HTTP in there. You go by those hints are usually pretty helpful. 8080. I already tried this and it didn't work, like I said, but we'll try it one more time. And there's no like enter button or anything. It's trying to load it. It accepted it already. It's loading right there. I guess I wasn't already saying that. But it didn't work yesterday, but let's see what happens today. There are some settings you could change. The only thing I can say I could try changing is the NVC type. I didn't do that yesterday. It can be kind of, these other ones, like that one there, last time I looked at it, it was kind of slow to load. Got a feeling it's not gonna work, but I don't want to just mess it up before, and then you'll be wondering, well, was it gonna work after all? So I think I'll just leave it alone. Oh, I can't do that. If I'm gonna change that, I'll leave this like it is and then change that. So I'm going to leave it like it is. Just make sure we're not overworking the machine or anything. Okay. Move it to the workspace right. And I'll know there's something over there. Just sitting there saying loading forever, so I don't know. This one here. Oh, what in the world? There it is. I thought I was going to the other camera. Oh, it doesn't support the retrieval of snapshots. Look at that. It worked. I don't know if it's yeah, now see, you can see it. Now it's kind of hesitating a bit. Not too bad. Well, you know what? That's probably 15 frames per second, just like it says in those setup. Now, that's the first time I've seen it that big. It is a little white. That could take a little tweaking. But at least in this app, I think it probably looked better. Yeah, it's not really ghosting like my phone cameras do. Maybe just a tiny bit. I wouldn't try to give it more 30 frames per second then if that's what it's doing. Now I might do it. Well, it probably can't handle it. Since the defaults are 15, it probably can't really handle 30 frames per second. Or my network can't. Now, well, recording straight to the SD card might handle more frames. 15's fine, really, for surveillance. And you see, I would actually love to use a camera like this over, for making my videos if my network can handle it. Especially if it was wireless. Even if it was wired, it'd be okay to get better, better resolution and everything. But that's cool. So that's all this app can do, though, is view them. I thought I'd be able. It has setting. I thought I'd be able to set up. The reason I was trying it out is I thought I might actually be able to set up a one blank here. Set up a ONVIF camera with it, but you don't. You just view them. Oh, there it goes. That's the Zurich camera. It's just a parking lot or something. So let's see. How do you get rid of that? Oh, right there. Remove. Now all we got is this one. And actually, how do I? Oh, I should have left it because manually add a camera. I want to add my outside camera. 192.168.0.194. Try one more time on that. Let's see. Cam 1. 192. It's 8080. These are 8080. Well, now there is no username 192.168.0.194.8080. Okay, so there's no username and password, so it should just work once it's ready. That one's not working yet. Now it's not saying loading. 192.168.0.194. But these I did discover when I got them to work in Motion iOS on the Raspberry Pi. They are considered just MJPEG cameras, and they're not ONVIF cameras, so I think maybe they just won't work. There isn't any way to, say any different type of camera or anything. So, yeah, I don't believe that'll work. Yeah, it tells you up there, void ONVIF connection, so-and-so fault error. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So I'm going to remove that. So now anytime I open up this app, if this camera's running, look, okay, that is not 800 by 600. That is that full size resolution. I can do it with my mouse wheel, but I don't think there's anything to drag it up and down with. So I didn't even notice that a while ago. So that's how big. So it's within the width. I can see white on both sides, but the up and down is much taller. So that's the difference in that and 1080p. I thought it was taller and wider. What's that down there? Actions. Oh, okay. Very good. Cool. I didn't think that would work. So that doesn't still give me. Well, you can. I was wanting to show them side by side. But I heard my mom say something. I thought she was talking to me for a minute. Usually she knocks on the door and comes in. Trying to get that where I can copy it. Okay, now, well, let's go back to settings so that at least it'll only be showing a small preview instead of that big. Try not to work the machine too hard there. Okay, so what am I trying to go to? Not BLC. I was going to try to put this in something. Oh, OBS Studio. Adding a camera while I'm recording could cause this to crash, though. I may try to put that in OBS Studio later when I'm not recording. See, what I was thinking is I could do this, you know, put one on either side, but but really, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, look at this one. You know, lower resolution. That's the night vision, trying to figure out what to do. Lower resolution, going through the window and the screen. You can't, you know, there's just no comparison between that and that. Even though I don't like the fisheye look, I did not plan on buying one with the fisheye, but it does get a wide field of view. Where did it go? Oh, I guess I'm not in full. I'm not in full screen. Oh, well, this is not a. Oh, that would be if it was one of those kind of cameras. That's one of those. How do you make it go into full screen? Did it a while ago. Now it's fitting this screen when it wasn't a while ago. Well, that's fine. I'd prefer it to do that anyway. But I don't know how I got it to be full screen. Wasn't when I clicked on that, was it? There's something that made it go into full screen that I did, I think. I don't know what. Right-clicking in there doesn't do anything. That's to add a new camera, that plus mark. That is for a pan and tilt camera, PTZ or something like that. I'd rather be able to see the whole picture anyway. But anyway, I mean, there's such a world of difference. So when that's outside with no screen and no window to go through, is why, I don't know. I think I will. I was debating about, do I want to put this camera, since it's a wide, put it in the place where that's needed, you know. So, probably be fine to put it. I'm going to think I will start out with it just outside of my window here so that it's easy to test without, because I think I can just stick that power cable out the window and shut the window on it. So I may even just leave it on the board that I have it on and clamp it to the window sill. We got a brick house that's got brick window sills, so stick out enough, you know, about that much, 4 inches or more, 6 inches. I mean 4 or 5 inches. Clamp it on there and aim it exactly the same angle as the, I don't want that to keep on playing in the background there. Same angle as this one. You see, I can, if with it being a wider angle, I should be able to see, well, if you go to the left anymore, you see the window, you know. You can see the bottom corner. That's as close that way as I can get. Because I want to be able to, I want to see as much as I can of the two trucks. Van and the truck. There's actually another car behind the Blazer, and I can't see it because of the van. So I need one. I need 3 cameras out there. I need one over the driveway, which wide angle might be where I want it, or one. I want one at the front door, probably. Because to see if anybody walks on past what you can see there, then can't see them. But usually you hear somebody drive up, and you're like, usually what we have is delivery trucks, you know. But you hear them drive up, you can look out. Or if somebody does ring the doorbell, they usually kind of stand back just enough where you can see them. So anyway, but this one gets a good overall view of the most important part of the yard, since I only had one camera, you know. And there's no point in turning it left anymore. I'll just be seeing the inside of my windowsill inside the house. So, but this one with the wide angle, with it outside though, I still will have to. I'd probably be looking down the wall on the left and then seeing more across the street than I actually want to. I think there's a squirrel out there. There's a bird. Something at the bottom of the tree. And see, with the other camera, I'd be able to tell what that was. Oh, I was thinking about putting that camera over in the window and comparing them that way through the screen, just for the fun of it. But you know, right now, I'm dying to have a break. So that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to shut it down, shut this stream down, and come back after I have some break. All right, bye-bye.